March 28, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on a 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. That's how I saw the charts today. It was a consolidation sideways. Then shortly after the market opened, about 30 minutes in, there's a sell-off, another consolidation, another sell-off, consolidation. So it almost looks like a stair step, 3 steps down. It was only economic data that came out was at 5:30, which is about right here. It was the core PCE Price Index, and then after that, there was no other real news. I think President Trump, or there was a lot of news from him or his administration about tariffs, about deals being made, et cetera, et cetera. And I think like Canada or the EU was saying they're going to retaliate in response. So it just kind of made for a really strong sell-off, kind of a choppy day. You can see the total range from 57.47, the pre-market, sold off all the way down to the aftermarket of 56.02. But in regular trading hours, it still made about a 100-point move. So it was quite a bearish day. I took one trade and was profitable. It was right here. And I marked a few other trades in here. And then there were some black arrow trades or setups that I saw. I didn't really put it in the notes, but it was just something I saw in real time. I wasn't really sure what I was looking at. Then after the fact, I thought, okay, had I known, maybe there was a trade there, but I couldn't really justify it being a true setup because in real time, I couldn't really identify it. So here we go. We're going to go into the trades right now. It was quite a bit of volume. The pre-market, it kind of chopped around. It was having a bearish bias to it because it is making lower lows, lower highs every time, but it was respecting the pre-market lows roughly right here. So it made two legs up in the pre-market, sold off when I thought was this yellow down channel, break of this green down up channel, test the high, made one attempt, two attempts up, flushes down. There's kind of a lower high right here, but nothing really worth trading. It comes along, comes up to this is like a new high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long looks like it's about to fail. There's also a new low. It's a first entry short, pullback, creates a second entry short. Now, I thought this was a possible trade. I didn't have this yellow down channel trend line here. It doesn't exist yet, but I do see that this is a break of the green. It made one attempt down, kind of made a second attempt down, but I do like that this looks like it's about to reverse. And here, down to here, there's enough room for a scalp, but I didn't trust the read enough to take a trade yet. Also, I wasn't sure this was actually a range yet, so this blue trading range wasn't something I could use as a key entry point at that point. Sells off, pushes up, and actually gives you a lower high. And I saw this as actually an almost trade because it's a new high, first entry long pullback, second entry long pullback, and this creates a lower high. It actually moved one tick above this guy, then it engulfed this guy completely, will close at the low. So if you were able to recognize this and take a trade on the engulfing, there might have been a trade, but for me, I called it an almost trade because it did move one tick above, which I like, flushed down and closed strongly. The problem is it's already at the low of this potential range, which I do have established at this point. I kind of drew it roughly about here. And then by the time this closes, it feels like the trade has already been made. I'm afraid of a potential bounce in sideways price action. Prices continue moving down. This blue line is actually where the yellow panel used to exist because I actually had it touch here, touch here, touch here, pushes down, has this overshoot of where the current orange down channel is, overshoot, and it pushes back up, creates a first entry long. Here it's about to create a second entry long, but I wasn't too sure. I wasn't sure how strong this yellow down channel was going to be. And I was playing with the idea of potential low here. So this could still be in the range and maybe not quite a fail breakout. Pushes out. Then actually, this is where I take my first trade. It's a new low, the first entry short, pullback. Second entry short is technically right here. Fails and pushes up. I saw this as a new high, first entry long, pullback. Technically, you have a second entry long, creates a matching triple top. It moves one tick above and flushes down. So as this candle was forming, the tick count was running down and it was getting toward the close. And I took a hunch that if it breaks below this green bar, it probably has enough momentum to close at the low. So I didn't wait for this to close. It was very close to closing because the tick count was going down to zero. I think it was down in the hundreds. I entered right here, got filled, quickly got my profit target, which I was happy with. and it creates a lower high. So this is actually a triple test, which I liked. It, this measured move was closer. I saw something like this. I said, there's a break here of where this yellow down channel was, and it made a corresponding symmetrical break here. So that gave me a little more confidence that it's moving back to maybe test the lows of this yellow. There was a first entry short, second entry short failure, and a first entry long, second entry long. I didn't like this as a potential trade because it's going to run into the EMA. Plus, it was hitting the resistance of this down channel. So to go long on this candle where the black arrow is, I didn't think it was worth it. But when it had a reversal pushing back down with a triple test or multiple test, I like that. So that's why I entered. And then it actually gives you a lower high here. This lower high I actually thought was also a possible trade, but this happened 1 minute after I already got my profit target, so I was in no mindset to try to enter another trade. But I liked that it moved 2 ticks up, flushed down, and actually ticked below this guy and engulfed it. So I thought if you didn't take the trade here, this is probably a somewhat safer entry because you're seeing prices move back into the yellow now. It turned out it would have worked. Prices then continue moving down. So it's bouncing pretty nicely off where my current yellow down channel is going. There's no clean second entries. Starts as a small break here, pushes down, kind of bounces. So actually, I thought this might actually be something closer to this because it still matches pretty well. Touch here, touch here, touch here. This trade's already over, kind of moving down. It's still bouncing off where I thought the original yellow down channel is, which is this blue line. It creates a new low. It's a first entry short, pullback, second entry short. It's very subtle, but this is a new low. It's a first entry short. This actually makes a double bottom, but this candle actually ticks above, then flushes down. So I count this as a first entry short right here, first entry short, second entry short all on this candle. Plus, there's a triple test of the top of this range, and it made multiple attempts to try to break through this resistance, but it failed. So I thought there might be a trade here. Plus, there's just enough room for a quick 1-point scalp. And I like that it was engulfing, but I didn't take it. And I also liked it that it was kind of confirming this yellow down channel. It would have been better. I think I would have had more confidence if this actually spiked up, touched the EMA, and then flushed down and had the same body right here. But unfortunately, that didn't quite happen. Prices continue moving down, trending down with this yellow down channel pretty well. Bounces, tries to break through, but now the EMA does touch reject, but there's no setup. It's only a first entry short. Continues making lower lows. And I was wishing, but it wouldn't have worked for me had I had a runner to try to chase this all the way down. But if I had a runner here, it likely would have gotten stopped out on this lower high anyways. Prices bottom, starts reversing, break of this green, break of this yellow down channel with this green up channel. You have a second entry short here, but it's above the EMA. It's kind of an inside bar. I didn't really like that. Break of this green, made one attempt, 2 legs up. It's just getting a little congested, starts pushing down. Say first entry long here. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but there's no real setup here. It's just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. Breaks. So this is an area that doesn't have really clear bias to me. So I'm not really looking to go long or short. I'm just waiting for prices to kind of get out of this type of price action to give me a better, clear idea of what's going to happen. Then prices can continue. It's just a little bit choppy. There are a couple legs down. There are second entries by the technical count, but they're not the best. It's this new low. There's this really congested area here. Pushes up. You have a first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here. This isn't a good signal bar to go short. So when I see this, I'm not thinking of shorting. I see this. I see a confirmed second entry short, but it closed at the low. So I'm not thinking of a failure. It starts kind of reversing up, and it flushes up. So it is a first entry short, second entry short. The failure occurs here, but this signal bar here wasn't very convincing or wasn't very enticing. If this stem was chopped off and it would close kind of at the high, then I would have thought this would be preparing me for a trade. But since it closed like this, it's a little ambiguous. Pushes up. It's a first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but it's an inside bar. I'm not too keen on this. Drops around sideways, and you do get this triple test. It's not the cleanest, and you have a second entry long by the visual. So technically, you have a first entry long, second entry long, but I saw it as a visual first entry long, pullback, second leg, second entry long. Second entry long technically has failed, And there is a triple test or multiple test. Now, I wanted this ideally to not have these big stems because these big stems, the body is closing within the range, which is nice, but these big stems indicate to me that any subsequent candles could have these flash rallies. So if you're going short, even though your bias and your read is correct, this volatility could still stop you out. Look at the size of this stem compared to the body. So I was afraid if I was trying to go short, because it's a new high, first entry long, second entry long, triple test, if I try to go short here, I don't want to see this type of candle flash up. So it's a little more aggressive, just kind of out of my comfort zone, so I left it alone. It would have worked though. Drops around, say new high, first entry long pullback. Technically, I have a second entry long here, but I count it as visual first entry, pullback, second entry. Second entry here. Second entry long is below the EMA. I don't like that. I need a higher low confirmation. You kind of get a higher low here, but there's a breakout here, and you're thinking maybe there's going to be a breakout on this side. So it's a first entry short or a higher low depending on your count. Creates a new high, first entry long, pullback, second entry long, new low, first entry short, second entry short. Now this second entry short hasn't failed yet, and this second entry long hasn't confirmed yet. But I call this an almost trade simply for the fact that there is not that much room from this high to where this clear area of resistance is. I mean, you could have said maybe the resistance is higher, but it doesn't really seem that clean. It looks like it makes more sense right here, where there was a bunch of touches and the bodies all end there. So it could reject here like this candle did, or push all the way through. But from here to here, there's only really one tick. Not one tick, 1 point. So I decided to leave this alone. It would have worked because I didn't know that this big candle was going to show up. Prices then continue moving up. So I'm just kind of sitting on my hands. Pushes up. It kind of hits what I think is some kind of resistance area because it made 2 attempts up. So I thought maybe there's some kind of resistance here. Put the low of the range here, but I don't really trust this because it doesn't have enough confirmation. It does show that prices are contained in the sideways price action of this bigger range, but that's all I have right now. So first entry long, pull back. You got a second entry long here, so it's a new high. First entry long, pull back. Second entry long. Second entry long continues. So I actually saw this as a visual. First entry long. Actually, first entry long here. Maybe a second entry long. It's also a new low, first entry short, second entry short, confirm second entry short, confirm failure of this second entry long. Excuse me. And it was a break of this green down channel, made 1 attempt down. This could be the second attempt down. It feels a little bit aggressive. I do like that it broke above the EMA and is starting to move its way back down to make me feel a little confident. I'm hoping the next 2 candles kind of prints here, and then the candle after this one that hasn't printed yet will come up, touch the EMA, and flush down to give me a lower high. Unfortunately, it doesn't do that. It flushes down. So I ideally wanted this candle to be cut by a quarter or cut by 3/4 and maybe end here. Then this candle, which is way down here, I wanted to come up, touch the EMA above this guy, and then flush down. But it didn't set up, so it's a more aggressive trade for sure. I mean, I thought it was a possible trade, but I didn't really like it for myself. Prices move down. First entry short. Technically, I have a second entry short here. This yellow down channel really isn't confirmed yet, so I didn't really see it as a key entry point. Plus, I didn't like that they ended both above the EMA, so I'm leaving this alone. Pushes up, and this is after the fact. I saw this, and then this flushed down. So this is lower high, confirming the first entry, second entry short, lower high, but this is the wrong colored candle. And I actually, to be honest, kind of saw it after the fact. The only thing I was thinking of at the time was there's a hit rejection potential off this yellow down channel, but not enough for me to want to take a trade. Then it flushes down. So this isn't really even a hunch, it's just something I noticed. So hence it's not in the notes. Prices continue moving down, breaks below the yellow down channel, hits this consolidation area. It's just spindly right here. I don't really like any of this. It feels a little bit tough, tricky to trade. New low, first entry short, second entry short. Again, it's just congested. I'm not really liking what I see here. It's a little bit tight trading. I do think it's in a range, so I drew this trading range, but it doesn't confirm really well at the lows. Kind of at the highs. It has 3 touches now. Depends on what this next candle does. So it does look like it's confirming there's some kind of resistance here, some kind of support here. Then I saw a multiple test here. I also saw this as a new low. First entry short, pullback, potential second entry short. But it kind of closed the EMA. Potentially there's a trade here. This looks like it wouldn't have really, this would have been a really tight trade. And then this one would have worked out, but not a setup that I really particularly like. Pushes down, moves down on this green down channel. And so this makes like the second step. So it's this step, flush down, second step, flush down. So I'm thinking, is there going to be kind of a bottoming sideways pattern for a third step? Kind of what I was thinking at the time, but I wasn't sure. Pushes down. There's no real clean setup. You do have a first entry short here, but it makes a new low, pushes back up, first entry short. Technically, I have a second entry short here, but I felt it's more like one leg, push up, maybe a second leg. This is the trigger bar, but it's above the EMA. When you see this, I'm not really ready to go short because it looks like it's bouncing off the EMA. This follow through wasn't very convincing. And then finally pushes down, but it's too late now. There's a new low, it's a first entry short, and that's all you get. Bottoms here, pushes up. I do see a new low here, first entry short, second entry short. Now in real time, I saw this, but I really couldn't justify a trade. I saw this as a first entry short, second entry short, break of the green up channel, made one attempt up, second attempt up. The thing that was holding me back is EMA isn't super reliable right now or today, except early on as a support or resistance. After this big flush down, where you could kind of trust the EMA wasn't reliable. Now prices are moving above, below, above, below. So it's just kind of not being respected. It's kind of a roller coaster. You can trust the overall bias, but then you don't know where it's going to break through. When I saw this, I wasn't sure if it was going to bounce off the EMA, even though it's sideways. It's just not reliable. So I left it alone. But in real time, I did see this and I was wondering about it because I liked this candle. But that's pretty much, and I did like the two tests of the high of the green, but that's pretty much all I had. It would have worked though. So I don't know if this hunch or anticipated trade setup was a correct hunch or not, but I did mark it for myself, but it's not an official trade that I put down. There's also new low, first entry short, second entry short. Looks like it's break, one leg up, pull back, second leg up. I like mainly that this is only a 6-tick candle and there was enough room to the EMA. But again, I didn't have the courage to try to take this trade because I was thinking one leg pull back, could it make a second leg up to test potentially the highs here? It doesn't. Drops around, pushes above this. But initially I had the top of my range or resistance line here. It's a new high. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long. This is not a good setup because inside bar, pushes breaks, fail breakout here. New high, first entry long pullback, second entry long. Second entry long here looks like it's about to fail. It's also new low, first entry short, pullback. This next candle, if it prints lower, it would confirm the failure of the second entry long and confirm the second entry short. So it does. Now you have first entry short, second entry short, but it didn't follow through correctly. I'm thinking this yellow down channel wants to test the low. This is one attempt. This might be the second attempt. Either it ran out of steam because it did rally back up a little bit, or there could be another move. Pushes down. So now it's first entry short, second entry short, first entry long, second entry long. Excuse me. If there was a trade here, I thought, okay, there's enough room to the lows. Okay. There's a lower high here now, but this isn't a good trade now because you're hitting a very deliberate, very clean support area. So I'm not thinking of going short here. Pushes down, new low, first entry short, second entry short pushes up, creates a lower high, but it all depends if this next candle breaks below its break of the screen up channel, test of the high, makes a second attempt but fails. So I'm thinking there's a potential short opportunity here. It did close right at this support that I was concerned about previously, but if the next candle breaks below, then I think it would have been a possible trade there. And it does. You'd have to be quick though, because it opens, it moves up just one tick, then flushes down. So by the time it flushes down and made my scalp, I didn't think there was a trade worth entering at that point because it just felt like the trade has run away with you. Don't try to chase it. It's a good signal bar though. Pushes down. I'm wondering if it's going to test the lows here or if this is actually the low of the range. And this is just a fail breakout. So far, I've respected it. Then it starts moving back up. First entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here, but it's also moving up in this orange up channel. No real trade here. Pushes to the high. I'm starting to trust the high of the trading range might be here as opposed to this one. So I'm trading these outer band ones now. Actually, I'm trading the high one and maybe this one. It already exceeded it. fail breakout, just watching, first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here, break this green down channel, but this green down channel doesn't look very clean, doesn't fit quite well. It's this really big spike, which I don't know what to do with. Kind of hits this triple test support here, pushes down on this yellow, but this yellow, I mean, it kind of fits, but it only has one touch, two touch, kind of three touch confirmation, but it isn't the cleanest, so I'm leaving it alone. Breaks out, fail break at the lows. It's a first entry short, and that's kind of all you get. You also have a double top, it's a first entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but this isn't a very good signal bar, just ugly all around. Plus, it's getting close to the end of the day, last 15 minutes now. So I just kind of hung up my hat at that point and just kind of watched the price action move into the close. You have a new high here. It's a first entry long pullback, second entry long, but this is an inside bar. So if I wanted to take a trade, I'd be looking for a higher low, which you kind of get here, but then it's definitely too late for any kind of trade because this is the last 10 minutes. So to be honest, I was kind of mentally checked out after about here, where I started to see prices were getting really choppy. Didn't really look as closely because it looked like it was just noisy, plus the end of the week. And I was also kind of just happy with my one profitable trade that I wasn't really looking, especially at this time of day, to try to get anything to work or look for something that might be more risky than I wanted. So hopefully that was helpful.